Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Should we see what's going on on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Well, I'm just going to double check. But actually, did I have a YouTube video go up? Oh yeah. Also, I think I hit like 800 subscribers very recently, which is like whoa. Sorry, it was like a really weird response to it, but whoa, crazy. 805. Okay, never mind. But there's quite a few comments I actually need to respond to. But anyway, did I have a video? Whoa, YouTube Studios changed. But the public icon is now changed to a globe instead of a green eye, which makes it significantly harder to read IMO, but still. Anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's what? Right now in Fawnhallow, 6:07 PM on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2023. I can't speak today. What's wrong with me? What should we talk? Oh, you know, this was actually something I wanted to talk about. Public domain. Mickey Mouse is finally, after all these years, in public domain. Well, okay, caveat, Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse is in public domain. And you might be like, what are you talking about? What is that significant? Well, I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm not a lawyer, especially not necessarily like a copyright lawyer. Like, okay, well, I don't know if I wasn't a lawyer. I'm definitely not a copyright lawyer. Like, in the same vein, I feel like extra specification is not necessary. So, but basically what I'm trying to say is my knowledge on laws of copyright is not extensive. You know, I only know the basic, like, layman's terms explanations of it and that sort of thing. But essentially, what's been happening is way back in the day, whenever this copyright thing was introduced, which... you know, to be fair, copyright is a good thing when it's introduced. It allows artists to actually have like a hold of the rights of things they make, and so they can't, like, if an artist comes up with an independently good idea, you know, it's not immediately going to be cannibalized by like a bigger corporation which with larger funds to exploit or, you know, be stolen from immediately. You know, an independent artist can actually use their ideas to actually create things for you know, that benefit them, I suppose, in the end. But they basically get the credit for doing something that they put the work in for. But yeah, when copyright was introduced, it wasn't nearly as long. I can't remember how long it was. Maybe it was like 15. It was about the length of a lifetime, I think. Maybe even less, probably. But whenever it's introduced, however many years it was, it was significantly shorter. So it was just like, oh, you know, it was determined to be a length of time. I should look it up before I just say it. Copyright law. Fair use Wikipedia? Is that the thing I'm trying to think about? When it was first introduced? It was like in my mind, it was like 50 years or something. But basically, it was a length of time. This might all be wrong, by the way, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But it's the general idea of it. It was about 50 years long, and then it was like, that was the determined amount of time where it's like, yeah, an artist can make all the things that they want to make out of this, and then, you know, once that time period is up, it goes into the public domain, which means anyone can, you know, use it freely without, you know, risk of, you know, being sued by copyright by the original creator and that sort of thing. And that was an inevitable thing which happens no matter what, I suppose, to whatever artwork. Whatever media property is created, and that happens at the start of every single year. It's why there's like a load of different things, like, you know, that I mean, to take Disney as an example, Disney himself can like make stories about Snow White, which was originally written in, I don't know, like 1800s or something. Let's see, hold on. Snow White, 7 Dwarves. Not the film, as a franchise. But the 1800s fairy tale by Brothers Grimm. Which is why Disney can release their own version and not be sued by, well, they're not going to be sued by Brothers Grimm, who I assume are no longer alive, but by Brothers Grimm Foundation or something, or people who represent them years down the line. Because Snow White is entered with the public domain, is, you know, if anything, it sparks more creativity. Things in the public domain are things that are free to people to use. People can have their own takes on it, and especially because they tend to be older things, and it means people can have like modernizations or things like that, you know. We get cool stuff like that, you know, like the modern take on Romeo and Juliet or Leonardo DiCaprio, things like that, you know. A lot of things are probably born out of things which were initially in the public domain. And then, of course, you can still get copyrights on the new things that you create. Like Disney probably have a copyright on their interpretation of Snow White, but they don't have a copyright over the original source material by Brothers Grimm. So it allows other people to make their own Snow White things, but as long as it's not like, you know, the same as Disney's one, etc., etc. But the thing is, you know, that whatever whenever it was. Like maybe it was a Wikipedia article. Let's see. Mickey Mouse copyright Wikipedia. Copyright Term Extension Act. Here we go. And it's all like American copyright law, by the way. But it's still fascinating. And Disney's a US company, so, you know, that's kind of why I'm talking about it. So let's see. Copyright term began in 1790. It was about 30 years. Okay, so it's even shorter than I thought. So let's see. I mean, it got firstly extended, I think, due to Disney, since that, right? Oh, okay. Following Copyright Act of 1976, the copyright would last the life of the author plus 50 years. Okay, that was it. I thought it was a lifetime. Why does it say 30? Or 70 years from publication or 100 years after creation, whichever which is shorter. Is that right? The 1976 Act also... I remember 1998... Oh, that was it. Okay, so I'm getting all the details wrong. Apparently I didn't remember it as nearly as well as I thought I did. Hold on. When was Steamboat Mickey release? 1931. Where? Hold on. Where? Wikipedia. You tell me, because I don't know the actual things. The Mickey Mouse Protection Act is actually what it's named by. For works this law affects under this act was still protected by 1998. Oh, okay. So it was in 1998 it got extended. So I guess initially, well, I mean, looking at this graph and what I'm going by, okay, maybe I don't know the dates of whatever's going on, I just kind of know the general concept. But basically, this Copyright Act, you know, the Steamboat Mickey, released in 1936 or whatever it was I just said, was eventually coming up to the end of its copyright sort of like lease. Like eventually, like it was going to be like in a few years, it was going to go under public domain, which, you know, Disney were just like, hey, no, we can't have that because, you know, Mickey Mouse is our like golden child. He this original incarnation of him, I suppose, is still inherently tied to Disney as an image as a whole, and we don't want other people using it. We want to, of course, you know, make a profit off of this. We want to make a Mickey Mouse merchandise and have control over it. So then, like, this Mickey Mouse law, I suppose, was passed to extend the Copyright Act even further. And basically, it was like a back and forth for a couple of times where it just kept refreshing over and over and over again. Every time Mickey Mouse was just about to enter the public domain, it got pulled back again by extending out further and further. And it was only the start of this year where I guess they stopped doing it, probably because they sort of have like a different loophole. It's not really a loophole, I suppose. I guess it's just kind of like how it works. Like, maybe a loophole is a bit too like derogatory, I suppose, a way in explaining it. But now it's just like Steamboat Willie, at the start of this year, 2024, the Steamboat Willie, which first appeared in 1928, entered public domain 2024 onwards. Which is why, I don't know if you've seen it yourself on like your social media and stuff, you've probably seen an influx of like a Mickey Mouse-esque artwork. So at least I have personally, because people are like, whoa, he's in public domain now we can do literally whatever we want and Disney's not going to sue us. You can probably make t-shirts with his own depiction, etc, etc, etc. And yeah, so I guess like Copyright Act is no longer being extended. Maybe now Disney's going for the strategy of, instead of getting this copyright law extended over and over and over again, which, you know, as powerful as Disney are as a corporation, especially in the legal terms, I don't think they can keep that going forever. Is the sort of thing where I guess I'll just make a new iteration of Mickey Mouse every single time. I don't really know. I don't even know what the consequences of this is going to necessarily be. But there's a tons of things which are presumably now in the public domain. But it's just like it's the sort of thing where I'm just like, it's a shame, I suppose, it happened like this in the first place. You know, like, obviously I understand the need for copyright, I understand the need for protection, I suppose, especially to creators, to make sure that they can actually, you know, be the ones, if they create something, they're the ones who actually can stick with creating it, you know. But they actually get credit, I suppose, for the idea that they've come up with, rather than having it be taken away by someone with more money or more power, or more of a stronghold on the sort of thing, you know. There's a reason that we have laws in the first place, but the fact that the public domain, I suppose, it ended up sort of being brutalized in a way where it's now like instead of it being its intended use of like, oh, give the artist a safety net for their lifetime to be able to create these things, and then, you know, a bit for after, you know, they perish and that sort of thing, and then allow new creations to be made, it's sort of like stagnated for a long while. And I suppose technically nothing's really changed. It's not like the Copyright Extension Act has been like reduced or anything. It's just like, I suppose it's symbolic, if anything, that it's like finally the stranglehold has been released. Mickey Mouse is now out of copyright jail or something like that. It's perhaps a weird bit. Hold on, I wanted to customize my tools before I left. It's that symbolic act of him becoming public domain, which means that it's like, oh, now it's sort of like a symbolic like release. It's a symbolic thing that maybe things can change. Despite the fact things that haven't, I don't know. Titles amended 17. What on earth? I don't really understand what I'm looking at when I'm looking at this Wikipedia article. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that like well versed in legal stuff, so. Let's see. This law effectively throws the advancement date of public domain in the United States for works covered by the older fixed-term copyright use. Under this act, works made in 1923 or afterwards that were still protecting copyright in 1998 would not enter public domain until 2019 or later. Mickey Mouse specifically in 1928 entered public domain in 2024 or afterwards. Unlike copyright extension legalization in the European Union, did not revive copyrights that had already expired and therefore is not retroactive in that state. So I don't know what the copyright legislation is in the EU. Does it say how many years? The current one goes on for about 100 years. That's a long time. What about the EU one? 70 years after the death of the author. That's a similar sort of thing to the 1976 Act. I don't know. There's an interesting... Oh, I can't remember who made the initial article about it in the first place. Copyright is a thing which confuses me a lot. And it's actually something which I think about with the fact of making these videos, because like, isn't it technically these are like infringements on copyrights? Like, I mean, it was a thing actually way back in the day. Nintendo was extremely like litigious when it came to taking down videos of gameplay and that sort of thing, or like obviously I guess I don't need to worry too much about it because I'm not monetizing things in that sort of degree. So it's not like Nintendo are gonna bust out the lawyers and be like, let's take down the Dear Darling YouTube channel or anything like that, because it's like, it's not worth our time. Like, why bother? I suppose. I like to think I'm not defaming them or anything either. I'm just sort of speaking. But it's interesting because like the whole video game streaming industry is taken up around it. Like, obviously you can't live stream like films or TV and just like casually react to it and talk over it. Well, I mean, as much as people have tried, that's not like a whole industry. But like, it's okay with video games for some reason. I don't know. I don't know necessarily where that or how that falls under things legally, and I guess it just kind of doesn't, right? But it's also the sort of thing where, because video games I guess kind of go hand in hand with the streaming in first place, it was like the industry of video gaming kind of like boomed with the market of streaming in the first place, that like a lot of developers are kind of like, oh yeah, stream our game. That's just like literal advertisement. Like, nothing's probably greater than, you know, having a really popular streamer stream your game to like millions a bit high, but to get like millions of impressions on it in the first place. So I guess that's like kind of why. I guess it's also with like a TV show or movie, if you do watch like your favorite streamer watch it or something like that, then, you know, you won't be inclined to go watch it yourself because it's like, I've already watched it. But with video game, I suppose, because of the element of choice which goes into these games in the first place. I was planting a fruit tree. I thought it was selling stuff. The element of choice which goes into the games in the first place means that you get your own like experience with it, right? But copyright's interesting, especially with uploading videos, especially because it's even more relevant with Okami, if anything, because so many of my Okami videos are getting flagged for copyright, not in a way where it's like, you've got a strike on your channel and you've got to take this down, but it's just like, they get flagged because it's like, whoa, this is exactly the same as this video, and I'm like, oh really? Like, are Nintendo taking out like Okami like copyright strikes? And then I click on it and it's like gameplay footage from like IGN or something, and I was like, I don't know if IGN can... Well, maybe IGN can copyright that. Again, I don't really know how the copyright law works. Like, I mean, I can open my YouTube studio right now and I promise you, like, it's probably been copyright. Okay, see, part 17, copyright, see details. Okami HD launch live stream. It's the same because it's literally like a cutscene content or something. But it's not affected. Content ID match on your video doesn't. It's not copyright strike. It's copyright ID claim on your video doesn't affect your channel. It's not a copyright strike. It's just like, I don't really know what to do. Like, I could trim out a segment. Why would I do that? Dispute it. I guess I could, but it's also like, I don't know. It feels weird because like, what am I disputing? It's not the song. I guess it's the video itself. I don't even know what this is. Okami HD launch day live stream. Like, I don't imagine it's the actual people who recorded this initial live stream video. Other ones striking my channel. Or maybe they are, I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know who they are. But I was just sort of like, it's from Capcom USA. And it's like, okay. Well, it being copyright struck is very strange, I feel like. But so many of the Okami videos are like that. I think these might be the only ones which are like that. Copyright. What else is struck by copyright? So 17, 16, 15, 7, and 6 of Okami have all been copyright struck. Tunic is as well. Somehow. Greet Yawning Beats. So it's a song which is playing in episode 25. Okay. Translating the language of Fez is copyright struck. I know this is because of the songs being played, isn't it? But to be fair, I played that from Lo-Fi Girl, I'm pretty sure, the playlist, which is theoretically not meant to copyright strike you, at least in a way that stops monetization. So I don't think any of these actually stop monetization. It just sort of like, it very much scared me when I first like saw some of them. I was just like, what? Like, what have I done? Like, I'm going to get a copyright strike for my hobby channel or things, or something I didn't even realise? But it's like, no, it's just like, I guess it just literally matches a different video. This was another one. This one's an art time lapse. So, you know, I guess I'm doing kind of alright. 8 videos, not copyright strike, content ID match, I guess is probably how I should say it. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with, well, it's not got nothing to do with like the public domain and Mickey Mouse, I suppose. I guess it's kind of tangentially related and the same sort of broad concepts, but yeah, anyway. Steamboat Willie, it's in the public domain, I guess. Am I going to do anything about it? Not really, to be perfectly honest. It's just sort of just like I guess it's just kind of like an interesting thing. To be perfectly honest. It's just like, hey, cool. I don't know, what else entered the public domain? Public domain new 2024. Public domain day, okay. 2024 and public domain. Countries of like what? When a work's copyright expires, it enters public domain in 2024. Since the laws vary globally, copyright status of some of the works are not uniform. Okay. Noddy? Noddy entered the public domain? That's crazy. A lot of these I don't know. The Fugitive I've heard of. I guess this isn't literally everything which is sent in. Alice in Wonderland. The 1903 film. Okay, so not... I was going to say, the original Alice in Wonderland must definitely be in public domain at this point. Citizen Kane! Oh! That's in public domain. Who knew it? I don't even know what Citizen Kane's about, to be perfectly honest. It's just like one of the greatest films of like all time or something. Grapes of Wrath? The Hobbit? No way, Lord of the Rings entered public domain. The original book series. Huh. I had no idea. That's pretty interesting. I don't know why UK's on here multiple times, but... As countries with different things. United States, here we go. The earliest incarnation of Mickey Mouse as well as Minnie Mouse entered public domain in 2024. Through Steamboat Willie. Sound versions of the latter two shorts entered public domain 2025. The House of... Oh yeah, like Winnie the Pooh entered public domain last year, didn't it? Which is why, like, wasn't it someone made like a horror movie of Winnie the Pooh? That very much feels like it's sort of just capitalizing on the opportunity rather than necessarily being something born out of creative inspiration, perhaps in first place, or not. I don't even know. How would that movie do? Rotten Tomatoes, Winnie the poo. Blood and honey. 3%. Oh god, it's horrifyingly low. 50% as an audience score. Interesting. Made on a shoestring budget and it's shoes. Okay. Good review, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know where I was going with this. I don't know, I guess it's kind of interesting. The more you read up about this sort of thing. Maybe I should, I might spend some time reading up about this. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Am I okay? I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope you see each other again. But for now, it's our farewells. Until next time. Bye-bye for now. That's my voice there. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye for now. There we go.